You know what I love?
Sports.
I love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
And welcome into a show of TexAgs Live where I'm not ready to roll. Welcome into the program. We've got a lot to get into. It is a game day Friday. OB, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well, Dave. Doing well.
So we're going to start things off with a little softer note. The ice cream challenge, or not ice cream, the cake challenge. Yeah, the cake challenge from yesterday. People have been texting me and asking me how I was doing.
Yeah.
I actually only had a little bit of a crash, just a little crash. There was a little hour break afterwards where I had to crash. But after that, I felt fine. I got my normal workouts in. I powered through. I will never do that again, but it was for a good cause, the Nuño College Fund.
Yeah, I would like to say I would never do that again. First of all, if I was offered money to eat a lot of food, I would do it because I eat a lot of food anyway. So for me, that would have been a layup.
Well, I wanted to do Bronny's show after, but I didn't have enough calories left in me. But they were doing the chicken nugget challenge or chicken tender, whatever they called it. I wish I could have done that.
I don't even think that's a challenge for Bronninger. I think that is.
That's why I was telling you he should have done something in my world.
Yeah, but you were suggesting him like swim a mile, and if he got about a quarter mile through it, we'd be dragging the pool to try to get the body out.
Well, okay, of course there is that. Hey, let's get into some football right now. We are running our mouths. 3 things that we want to see, brought to you by the Brazos Running Company, your local Aggie-owned specialty running store where you can find Brooks on Hoka shoes, located at Century Square below the Star Cinema Grill in College Station. Okay, OB, let's get into it.
Well, obviously we want to see A&M win. So what are the things we want to see that are going to contribute to that? Okay, I want to see Marcel Reed protected.
Yep.
Because I think that A&M has a mismatch with their receivers against the Auburn secondary. So Auburn has to get pressure on Marcel. If he has time to throw, I think A&M they'll just have a big game going through that Swiss cheese Auburn secondary. On the other side, I want to see A&M get pressure on Jackson Dart. But beyond that, the second thing I want to see is that the third thing I want to see is I want to see an effective spy. So they're waiting on Jackson Dart, and they keep Jackson Dart from running effectively, especially on scrambles, quarterback draws, zone reads.
Here are my 3 things.
Okay.
No dumb mistakes. Okay. There were a few too many mistakes on the road, which sometimes that happens when you're on the road, right? So.
Especially early in the year.
Right. So no false. I mean, you're going to have some false starts, but just limited number of dumb mistakes. Okay. Make sure that everybody is blocked on a punt kick. Just a punt. No big runs from Jackson Arnold. Can we neutralize that threat? Look, Auburn's better than their record. The loss last week, I think, is. But I also think something you brought up on the show yesterday that'll be a topic throughout the show is they're not. The fact that they're stopping the run so well, I don't know if it's really that true because Oklahoma doesn't run that much. Mm-hmm. Baylor doesn't run that much.
Right.
South Alabama apparently is a good running team. I looked at their numbers.
140 yards rushing on them.
They've rushed for 200 yards twice this year.
Right.
Now, not the same caliber of opponent, but so I'm still TBD there. But back to my big point. No big runs from Jackson Arnold. And can we get that offensive vibe again? 40 plus points.
Yeah, sure. I may be proven wrong. I've been proven wrong more times in my life than I can count, but I believe that A&M explosive offense is for real.
Yeah.
It worked on the road against Notre Dame, and that was a big question. I think it's going to be working this week too. I just think that good.
All right. Obi, I have something that I should have probably warned you about, so you're going to have to use that head of yours to think about this. I want us to pick the top 4 players so far in the SEC, but you can only pick one from a team. So you can't say Marcel Le'Veon and Mario Craver. Okay, you got to pick only one.
Yeah,
okay?
I'd say Mario Craver.
Mario Craver is the one I put on mine.
Even though I have Marcel as a Heisman contender and leader in my mind.
I'm going to give you one. I don't know if you've paid much attention to what Ahmad Hardy's doing at Mizzou.
Yeah, I am. The only thing I have, the only reservations I have about Ahmad Hardy is you got to do it against a team that, can fight back.
Yeah.
And he may, maybe this week is, because that South Carolina defense I'm not sold on, right?
Right.
They even got UMass this week, so you're not even going to find out this week. It's next week that you start finding out. But I have no problem with you saying that.
The numbers are good through 4 games. They're excellent.
Excellent.
Let's see, 600 yards, first in the SEC, 7.6 yards per carry, 6 touchdowns, second in the SEC, a 90.3 PFF grade, second in the country. 458 of his yards have come after contact.
Yeah, but if you have it there, break it down game by game. And, then you start saying, yeah, I mean, he's put up great numbers, and he's probably outstanding, but I have to look at it and go, okay, is it, what's the balance between him being really good, which I'm not saying he's not, and playing soft competition?
Right.
As of now, I would, because he's out, but he hasn't missed a game yet until tomorrow. I think you'd have to put John Mateer.
Yeah, John Mateer, he's got to be on there. And I have him 300, was against Auburn. He had 300 total yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 passing, 1 rushing, and he didn't play his best game, and that's with issues with his hand.
Right. I'm trying to think what defensive player stands out to me right now, and I really can't think of one. I tell you, somebody that stands out to me, the Weeks guy at
Weeks?
Yeah, even though I keep hearing Marty Smith talk about the kid that's the transfer from Virginia Tech being, such a standout, but that Weeks guy's very, very consistently good.
He is good.
So I'd probably put him on there, and then
I'm gonna give you another offensive name.
I'm gonna say the kid, just for no other reason that he's playing really well, but also his name, Trinidad Chambliss.
Oh heck yeah!
Of Ole Miss
earns himself a start, right?
I don't know how you could bench him with what he's doing at Ole Miss. Now, again, take competition into account. And I thought Tulane was a lot better than they are. And then I went back and said, wait a minute, Tulane barely beat South Alabama. So I don't know what to make of that. But kid's gone out there and played some great ball.
Yeah, he has. All right. I'm going to give you another name. I don't know if you paid attention to what he's doing, but Chris Brazzell.
Yeah, he's the number 2 receiver in the SEC.
6 touchdowns,
Tennessee.
25 catches, 426 yards. He's been phenomenal.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's I think there was some question about what Tennessee was going to have offensively, and he's a big positive answer to that.
Yeah, he is. By the way, this is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It's the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations, and we're currently hanging out at the
Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
It is quite cool.
It is cool.
I love it here. I do.
Yeah, it was very cool this morning.
Yeah, it's the Holistic Planning Cool Zone. If you want to be a part of the conversation, what you can do is call us up on the Buppy's Catering and
Bartending
hotline, 979-693-1150. You can text that number as well, 979-693-1150. We go around the room, left to right, behind the glass is our dear friend, Nick Savage. Nick, welcome back, buddy.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to Saturday.
You mean tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Which is Saturday.
It is Saturday, yeah. Thanks, Obi. My gut feeling tells me it's a shootout until I see otherwise from the Aggie defense. I have a feeling it's going to be you got to pound the over, whatever it may be, for whatever game A&M is playing going forward. But I do like the Aggies, obviously. I think I was talking to this with my buddy about this the other day. It was a shootout last year. Mm-hmm. Are the Aggies more equipped to win a shootout this year, or they last year? Or you get what I'm saying. Yeah. So I think they're better equipped this year. Yeah,
I think it is a shootout, no doubt. And if it is a shootout, that favors the Aggies, OB.
I think so. I'll just put it this way. If you two teams with the potential to put up a lot of points, so if I have to decide, I might decide who I would pick based on the defense and what defense is more likely to have some success. And I'll say this. I'll look at the defensive coordinators, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say if it comes down to which defensive coordinator is more successful, I'm thinking I'm going to take Mike Elko over DJ Smirkin.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, making her return to the Social Center. Callie Gardner. Callie, good morning.
Good morning. How's it going?
It's okay.
Okay.
What's going on with you?
You know what else you should take the over on this weekend?
What?
The Ole Miss game.
You think?
With that great LSU defense?
Yes.
I'd say take the over on Notre Dame and Arkansas. I don't even know what the over is, but take it.
You know who told us to take the over on that game?
No.
Lane Kiffin himself.
Oh, that's right. He did.
Mm-hmm.
Then now Ole Miss is favored by 1.5.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a strange game to me because you see how good the Ole Miss offense is, right, Callie?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But who have they beaten? You know, they're putting some big points up against teams that, you know, aren't known for great defense. And then you look at that LSU defense, and they're stopping everybody. And that sounds really impressive until you start saying, wait, they shut down Clemson? Everybody's shutting down Clemson. They shut down Florida. Everybody's shutting down Florida. So what do we really have in that game?
I don't think his advice in taking the over had really anything to do with their offense. I think it was more, there's a little bit of lore behind the game this weekend.
Lore? Because
Yeah, because his daughter is dating Whit Weeks.
Is his daughter Lori?
No, do you not know the word lore?
I do know what lore is, yes.
Okay.
His
daughter's Landry.
I have a job that use words.
But
knowing what they mean is a big part of that.
I still am confused by that whole thing. I think she's on Team Ole Miss on this whole thing.
Oh, probably.
I think she's messing with the boyfriend.
Well, she apparently drove to Baton Rouge this week at 5 a.m. to surprise him and is driving back to Oxford for the game this weekend.
How do we know that information? How does that get out?
Because TikTok.
Well,
why do we know that information?
Why would you surprise him at 5 a.m.?
Well,
to see if he's with another girl.
We'll just see if Mr.
Is it
Weeks,
much of a surprise if it's on TikTok?
Well, I'm assuming she posted it after
the
whole surprise happened. But yes, she did because she posted a video of the surprise.
You know what? I know you'll know this, and this is what Whit Weeks or Will Weeks, whichever one. I know they're brothers. Whit.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to hear. Remember what Mickey told Rocky?
Remind me, because I know everything about that movie.
Dames weaken legs. Remember that?
I do remember that. Do you know what that scene?
I have no.
Oh, I forgot. You're not in the Rocky family.
He's telling him to stay away from his girlfriend while he's training.
You know,
for a
Adrian.
big fight because dames weaken legs.
I feel like it always comes back to Rocky.
It should, or Rambo.
Yeah, I feel like Rocky more.
Yeah, it's definitely Rocky Moore. What do you have for us this morning?
We have news on A&M volleyball. They opened SEC play with a statement win, knocking off number 21 Missouri on Wednesday night in 4 sets at Reed Arena. The Aggies took the match 3-1, improving to 9-2 overall, and they are 1-0 in conference as they look to go to 2-0 in conference tonight as they host Vanderbilt at 6 p.m. in Reed Arena. The newly instated Vanderbilt volleyball team, I might add, 6:30. I'm sorry about that. Ava Underwood enters the match with 988 career digs, and she is 12 away from becoming the 23rd Aggie all-time to reach 1,000 career digs. On the soccer front, Aggie soccer looks to get their first conference win as they hit the road today to face number 5 Tennessee in Knoxville. SEC soccer is just a gauntlet. They face their 4th top 25 opponent in the last 5 matches. Senior defender Bella Yackel played every minute this season, and Leah Diaz leads the offense with 3 goals and 4 assists. Tennessee owns a 73 edge in the all-time series, but the Aggies took last year's meeting behind Jasmine Wilkinson's hat trick. So good luck to both of those teams as they play tonight.
All right, OB. Can can I tell you about the TexAgs tailgate, if you don't mind?
Yeah, tell me about it.
So it's going to be from 11 to 2, free adult beverages from Rebecca Creek. Hey,
Okay.
Shiner, La Casa Tequila.
La Casa Tequila.
I think we might have a little La Casa Tequila to show during the final countdown. Food and drink for purchase by $17.75 and Catalyst Energy drinks. We're going to have music, yard games to enjoy before we beat the hell out of Auburn.
Sounds awesome.
It does sound awesome.
Maybe we're going to have a Casa Tequila contest like, yesterday you were trying to eat the cake.
Yeah.
And then Bronny was trying to eat all the
Had
nuggets.
the McKinney brothers take all the shots possible?
I don't
really think that's allowed on FCC.
I would put the McKinney brothers against Kay Nagley, and I'd probably put my money on Kay Nagley.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. Hey, let's go to lunch later, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's take Bronny with us. He eats a lot.
Yeah, he does eat a lot. And, if you want to eat a lot, you go to 1775 because not only are you going to eat a lot, but you're going to love it a lot. You're going to get that succulent brisket and that amazing jalapeno cheese sausage. I'm telling you, the turkey's great. If you're watching that weight, like I'm obviously not, but if you are, that turkey great, and pork ribs. And you know what I heard about? The queso mac and cheese is a no-brainer. But our TexAgs loyalist out of Cleveland, Tennessee's in town. He brought us some donuts today, Ed McClintock, and he told me he goes to 1775 every Thursday when he comes in for a game, and he says, get the pinto beans. I've not had them yet.
Okay,
well, swears on them. So,
we're gonna have to mix it all up then, and we have to, can you mix the queso mac and cheese with the beans? Can you mix them?
Sure. Maybe you can have them chop up some of that succulent brisket and put it on the queso mac and cheese.
There we go. I like the way you think. It is 17.
That's kind of like the icing on the cake.
Well played, sir. 1775 TXBBQ.com, 979-492-6241.
All right, little pit change. Ryan Broniger in the host chair now here at TexAgs Live on a Friday morning. Thank you guys for tuning in. We are inside the Rollo Insurance Studios.
Were you ever a pinch hitter very often?
Not very often. I was either
you were starting, right?
Well, no, I did start quite a bit, but I was very limited. So if I did come off the bench, it was only in a pinch hit role because they weren't going to let me play defense. I just have to come hit for somebody. Cool story. I came in. We were playing Southeastern Louisiana my junior year. I should not have been playing. My hamstring, I had a bad hamstring that whole year.
Okay.
But they needed somebody. We had our shortstop got thrown out of the game. It was just a bunch of moving parts. Our head coach got thrown out of the game. And the tying run was on second base in the bottom of the ninth inning. And I kind of
they go to
Bob Gibson.
Bob Gibson, the Cardinals pitcher?
No. Oh my gosh, Richard's going to be so mad. The guy for the Dodgers hit Kirk Gibson. I Kirk Gibson my way up there.
Really?
And I got a base hit to left field. And the left fielder comes up to try to throw the runner out at home because it's a tying run, right?
Uh-huh.
It goes by him. So I walked to second base. And then they took me out of the game. But that was like my only...
It's kind of a Jay Lavalette moment.
No, not really.
Didn't he come in hurt against LSU and play hurt?
Yeah, but it was his hand. He could run.
I mean, we still hurt.
It was, more heroic than he broke his hand. I had a pulled hamstring.
Well,
he broke his hand the day before. Way more heroic than what I was able to pull off. But the reason I'm in the host chair, David had a family emergency he had to step out for. It wasn't anything to do with his parents, but we just decided it was probably best for him to take care of that.
Absolutely.
And so I'm coming in to finish the show on this Friday morning. I have no idea what you guys just talked about, but I think if I have this correctly, on Friday mornings at this segment, you guys usually talk about the key matchups, and the Aggies and Auburn Tigers set to do battle across the street at 2:30 tomorrow inside of Kyle Field. And OB, this one has got a lot of people. To me, the sentiment by just reading our message boards and the sentiment from the A&M fan base is kind of split down the middle. Oh, this is going to be really, really tough. Or, no, I think A&M can handle this by a touchdown or two.
Well, I think it's going to be really, really tough, and I think A&M can handle them by a touchdown or so.
Okay.
But it's not going to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons it's not going to be easy is one of the matchups that I'm going to look at is, Auburn has this defensive end. Number 15, remember the 15 they had here a few years ago, that Garrett guy? Well, I'm not saying he's Garrett, but this guy, Keldrick Falk, is their version. He's really good. They talk about him being maybe a potential first-round draft choice. He has 2 sacks now. Doesn't sound like much, but hey, when you understand that everybody is going to be chipping him and double-teaming him and sometimes doing whatever they can, that makes it harder for him. So big matchup between him and I'm going to say Demetrius Crownover. Now, what they will do with Keldrick Falk, I watched several of their games this week. Didn't watch the Ball State game, but I watched the other 3. And they move him around to get the best matchup. And so you're going to see him line up on Trey Zune. But I would think that Hugh Freeze is thinking the best or DJ Durkin, so maybe he'll be in the secondary. I don't know. But what they'll
World's number one DJ Durkin hater, Olin Buchanan.
I am. So what I'm thinking is that more frequently he'll go lined up against Demetrius Crownover because they probably think that that's a better matchup than going against the All-SEC tackle Trey Zune. So I think it's going to be very important to see how Demetrius Crownover handles himself with Keldrick Falk, because if A&M can protect Marcel Reed, I think that A&M has a big advantage against the Auburn secondary, which brings me to another matchup. And
I do want to say,
go ahead.
You mentioned Demetrius Crownover. We anticipate Ruben Fothery
back.
Fothery's
going to be back.
Now, that's a big assignment for a guy coming off an injury. Keldrick Falk's one of the premier defensive linemen in a league that produces a bunch of premier defensive linemen. So it will be interesting to see how Adam Cushing rolls out his starting 5, and if there's a rotation that happens. Say Falk is having some success against Crownover, is that kind of an alarm goes off? Okay, let's get Ruben in there and see how he handles him in these one-on-one passing scenarios.
Yeah, maybe. But I would be shocked if Crownover doesn't come out there with the idea that he's going to be playing the lion's share of the snaps at right tackle, because let's face it, when a guy is seeing his first action of the year and just come back from injury and
it's a big assignment.
Do you want his first one to be against Keldrick Falk? So protect him because another big matchup is Marcel Reed against that Auburn secondary. Look, Reed is third in the SEC in passing yardage, 289.7 yards a game. And that's not just padding your stats against bad teams. We saw him do it against Notre Dame in the last game. He's got, two big-time receivers and others, but other good receivers, but two big-time in Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver, your national leader in receiving. And so the success he has, can he get them the ball against that Auburn secondary? Look, that Auburn secondary has had some trouble. They're giving up an average of 232.8 yards a game, and they've given up 6 touchdown passes. They've also allowed 14 passes of 20 yards or more. There are holes to be exploited in that Auburn secondary. Can Marcel Reed exploit them?
Can he be protected long enough? Because I think if he's protected, we saw him against Notre Dame, even though he was a little inconsistent in terms of the completion percentage, the big chunk plays. And what are those? To me, I've said it before, chunk plays in football are like 3-run homers in baseball. They erase a lot of bad, right? And A&M has made a living off of these chunk plays so far this year. An interesting stat that I saw this week in my scrolls through social media, Mario Craver, as you mentioned, leading the SEC in receiving. John Mateer leading the SEC in passing right now. He's hurt, but Oklahoma's also on a bye. With a big day through the air, Marcel Reed, A&M could be possessing the #1 leader in passing and receiving after 4 or 5 weeks of the season. Yeah, and I don't think anybody probably had that on their bingo card coming into the season.
I have Marcel Reed #1 on my Heisman list, and people are going to say, yeah, but you coach, you cover A&M, so of course you're a big homer and all this. And I get it why they'd say that, but then I'd go back and I'll give the numbers and the Heisman moment he had, and I'll say, who's really better than that? Now, I'm sold. If a big game against Auburn, I'm not saying a big game is 360 yards again, but throw for 250 and a couple of touchdowns in a win, and I think you're going to see a whole lot more people in the nation jump on the Marcel Reed bandwagon. Okay, here's another big matchup for me. The Spies. 007. Going to call out the old 007 defense for A&M. I'm looking at the Spies, whoever they may be, against Jackson Arnold. You got to have somebody watching to mirror his movement. So if he looks like he's going to scramble, you're able to step up and make that tackle and keep Jackson Arnold from having big off schedule plays. And I think Mike Elko, he's not going to designate one guy, let's say, pick somebody. Scooby, you're going to, I think sometimes it'll be Scooby, and then on the next play, it might be Ratcliffe. And the next play, it might be Dalton Brooks. So I think to not only spy, but to make Jackson Arnold a little bit confused.
And you got to get him to the ground. Got to get him to the ground. He's a big, strong kid and athletic. He torched Baylor with his legs, and it was almost seemingly like Baylor refused to adjust. It was a weird from Dave Aranda. You kept watching him make just big chunk plays with his legs. It's like, are you going to change anything? Something to think about. The last time the Auburn Tigers came to Kyle Field, whenever Mike Elko was on the staff here, they had a quarterback named
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, pretty mobile guy. Yep. And at that point in his career was not a great thrower.
No, he wasn't.
And Mike Elko had him in a blender all day. Remember, the only touchdown scored by the Aggies
was
scoop and score by Michael Clemens.
I think. Was it Edgerrin that forced? No, it was.
He forced it. It was Jaden Peavy was around him.
Peavy was around him.
The ball just kind of came out. All right,
Edgerrin was against
up against the break. When we come back, we're going to pick some games. How about that?
Let's pick them.
All right. We continue to roll right along, getting you ready for the Aggies and Tigers tomorrow on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Hey everyone, it's David and Olin from the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone.
I like when we have the chairs here because I don't feel like I have to do this when we're talking about holistic planning, but they want you to know, TexAgs subscribers, they take care of the TexAgs subscribers.
Oh, absolutely. Take care of everybody.
They want to know that anybody who signs up by November 27, 2025 will receive this awesome offer. If the Aggies beat the Longhorns or win in Austin on November 28, 2025, clients will pay no management fees to Holistic Planning for the entire 2026 calendar year.
That's free.
It's free $99. Actually, just free.
All you got to do is beat Texas. Well, it's not if they beat Texas, it's when they beat Texas.
When. And when you go to holisticplanning.com, you're going to love holistic planning. So it is holisticplanning.com. Check out the website and take advantage of this awesome offer.
All right, the gauntlet has been thrown down during the commercial break. Stephen McGee and Ryan Swope, two Texas A&M legends. If you are listening, Olin Buchanan feels like he got screwed yesterday in the cake bit.
I don't.
Okay? He says it wasn't that big of an accomplishment.
Well, it was for Nuño because he watches everything he eats. We go out to eat and he orders broccoli when we're eating wings and stuff like that. So, he's a big guy like me that I eat. I eat when I'm not hungry.
Okay, well, you want to say, you said that the cake, you could have done it easily in that amount of lot of time, and you will do it
I would have
for
done
that price tag.
In 35 minutes, $100.
35 minutes.
$100.
$100 a minute.
A minute.
McGee and Swope, if you're listening, bring the cake up here today.
I'll do it with my shirt off.
Ooh, I don't. I'll pay you to keep it on. I'll add money. Add to the total.
See, I'm already getting money.
You're like the opposite of a stripper.
Yeah.
People pay you
money to put it on. Put it on. Put it on. Put it on. They make it rain for me to put it on.
Oh, I hope somebody brings a cake up here because I didn't expect to be hosting TexAgs Live this morning, but I will do it. We'll go overtime plus some to watch you eat this cake.
Well, I've already eaten donuts today.
You're right.
I'd still do it. No, okay. I'd still do it. But if you bring the cake, bring me some milk too.
The gauntlet has been thrown down.
Nobody's going to.
35 minutes, $100 a minute for Olin Buchanan to eat an entire cake.
Is the same cake that
yeah, it's just, I would have assumed that cake came from Howard E. Butts.
Probably. I don't want him to come up with Costco, one of those enormous cakes.
Just one of those regular old birthday cakes.
Because that might take me an hour.
But you still do it.
The Costco cake.
Was this not amusing to you, Callie Garner?
She's just trying to get past the making it rain for me to put my clothes on.
Yeah.
Better than thinking about the opposite.
Oh my God.
I am married.
Yeah, I know, but
somebody wanted to see it.
Can I say this? At least one person has, poor thing. The middle picture.
She's going to be mad at me now.
Oh, yeah. The middle picture of you actively putting on like sweatshirt, jacket, beanie, and somebody making it rain with dollar bills while you're doing that, I get a big kick out of. The inverse I do not laugh at. If you're
the wife does.
It's a Friday.
Oh man.
We always get excited on game week, don't we?
Nick, can we pick games or have we gone too far? We can pick games? All right, we're picking games. Let's pick games. We've got it straight and narrow.
Straight and narrow.
Okay. All right, Callie Garner and the Angry Elephant Social Center. Kick us off.
Okay, we've got number 4, LSU, at number 13, Ole Miss, 2:30 on Saturday in Oxford. Ole Miss is favored by 1.5.
This is brought to you by Prize Picks, by the way.
All right. Well, I don't know how much a prize my picks are going to be here. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to take on this. Everything, the more I think about this game, everything tells me Ole Miss. So I'm taking LSU because if you look at my record this year, if I would just go against my original thought, I would be doing well. So I'm going to take LSU. Do I get a 1.5 with that, I think, right?
Yeah, but I mean, what are the odds? I know A&M just played a 41-40 game, but if it's a pick 'em to me, and I'm on hotty toddy gosh almighty.
Everything tells me, go with Ole Miss.
I'm picking Ole Miss.
So I'm taking LSU.
I'm going with Ole Miss. All right, next one.
We've got number 6, Oregon, at number 3, Penn State at 6:30 on Saturday. Penn State is favored by 3.5.
That's a tough one.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It is a tough one.
All you had to do was stop it. Think. You didn't have to add so.
I believe my eyes tell me, and I realize the schedule that they have played has not been daunting, but my eyes tell me that Oregon is the most talented team in the country right now. They look fast, like the old Oregon, LaMichael James, Marcus Mariota. This Oregon team looks really fast. I think they go on the road. I think Dan Lanning gets his guys up for these types of atmospheres. I know it's white out in Happy Valley. Give me the Ducks by a touchdown. If it's only 3.5 points, I'll take Oregon. They can win by a touchdown.
Yeah, maybe. They didn't look that impressive against a bad Northwestern team. Now, I mean, they ran up and down the field on Gundy and helped run him out of a job. I'm going to take I don't like Penn State, and I really don't like their quarterback, Drew Aller. I think he's one of the most overhyped players in the country. But I do think they have good running backs. I do think they have a good defense, and they're at home. I'm going to take Penn State.
Well, we're on the opposite side of both of these. Callie?
Number 15, Tennessee at Mississippi State this weekend at Davis Wade Stadium. Tennessee is favored by 7.5.
I thought this number would be higher. I thought this line would be 9.5, something like that.
Well, please volunteer your choice.
No, I'm not going to pay for the extra points here. If I thought the line should be 9.5, I've got to take Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
Like if I thought the spread should be bigger, I should take Tennessee. So I am. I'm going to take Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, since you didn't get where I was going with that, yeah.
What I missed?
He said volunteer. You're.
God, you're good.
You
are good.
I'm going to look.
Here's the problem with you. Whenever the joke you make is not toxic, I don't get it. Like if you make a normal, regular, every run-of-the-mill dad joke.
I think that's a problem with you.
No. That's a problem with me being around him so much.
That's the problem here is everybody's
got a problem.
Always take their perversions and project them onto me.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing now.
Goes.
So I'm going to take Tennessee.
Okay, we're on the same side finally. Yeah. All right, Callie, a couple more.
Number 17, Alabama at number 5, Georgia at 6:30 on Saturday. Georgia's favored by 3.
I'll go first here.
Go.
In a game that the line is tight, marquee matchup, primetime SEC, these two power programs that have run the league for the better part of a decade or more, I can't lay, if I was betting real money, I could not lay money on the side of Kalen DeBoer.
Okay.
When on the opposition sideline is Kirby Smart. If I'm going to lose this bet, I'm going to lose it placing money on Kirby Smart, and I can live with that a lot more.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I've had Ray Charles song going through my mind. I got Georgia on my mind.
I got that.
I hope they bring that one back on our bumper music. Yeah, I'm taking Georgia.
Okay.
I remember when Georgia was on my mind when A&M lost that game there.
I almost lost my mind.
Yeah, they got jobbed in Athens.
Okay. Number 22, Notre Dame at Arkansas at 11 o'clock.
Take the over.
Notre Dame's favored by 4.5.
What can you look up the over/under on that? It was 61.5, I think.
Oh, that's all. They're giving away money at 61.5.
I think that's correct. Is that right, Nick?
63.5.
No, take the over. Take the over.
I think the over. If I'm picking a side, I'm picking Notre Dame.
Notre Dame might get the 63 by itself.
The issue with the over, though, is that I think Notre Dame is going to run the football and shorten the game. I do think they will get extra possessions because for as good as Taylon Green has been, he's thrown the ball to the other team quite a bit so far. And I don't think C.J. Carr will do that. I think Notre Dame will go in and play a safe game. I understand where you're coming from with the over. I'm picking a side. I'm taking Notre Dame in the points.
I'm taking Notre Dame in the points as well. I think, in fact, I called my son, he's in Louisiana. I said, I might need you to place a bet for me this weekend. And I think I'm going to go with.
Does he charge you interest?
What do you mean? He charges me interest. He doesn't have to charge me. All my money goes there anyway. I took an early pension just so he can spend it. I thought I was going to help him with his.
What's he spending it on?
I thought I was going to help him with a tuition. He spends it at the Rev, their version of the Dixie Chicken.
That's valid.
Of course.
All right, so I'm taking Notre Dame as well.
Okay. Last but not least, Auburn at number 9, Texas A&M, Saturday at 2:30. A&M is favored by 6.5.
Final score is going to be 41-31 A&M, so I'm going to take the Aggies and give the point.
I have a little bit of heartburn about this game. I could see it being 24-21, 28-24 late in the fourth quarter. I do think the Aggies, Marcel Reed, what have we seen so far in his career? With games on the line, he does a good job of moving his team down the field. We've seen him in game-winning drives, go-ahead drives. I think he can do that again. I like A&M. I think they cover. One of my favorite things that I've seen is some of these other models that have come out. Josh Pate had his model at A&M -7.5. Was it Football Brainiacs or College Football Nerds? One of them had A&M at 7.5, and their models had the Aggies winning by 8 or 9 points. So I could see a scenario like you said. It's tight, it's close, and the Aggies score late, and they move it to a 10-point margin where they would win and cover. That's what I think will happen.
All that model. Have you ever done any modeling?
I have not. I'm not. I've modeled for Somebody told me once that I was built like a Coke can.
Okay.
So I dressed up in all red.
All right.
It might have been one of those weird perversions. As a matter of fact, the person that asked me to do that was from Troop or ARP or somewhere up there.
Troop or ARP? Yeah, they're not too far from right there on Highway 69.
Yeah, Legion Fields.
Yeah.
It's some what I'm saying.
Legion Field's pretty good. That's pretty good distance away from Troop and ARP.
I'm glad I said no to that.
Okay.
You know, sometimes you're in situations where you're only a couple of yeses for being in a spot where you really don't want to be in.
I think.
And you've already said.
I think Irma Buchanan could admit to that. She probably said, when you want to get married, yeah, she probably regretted that for the last 22 years.
Hey, by the way, you know what we've
learned? If you
learned?
asked her today, she'd say, I don't.
You know what we've learned
What?
about you and David in the last 24 hours? You have a price.
Oh, I've had a price. My price
but
just a lot less.
Well, we'll see. If the money shows up, cash, $3,500, and a cake shows up, we'll put you on the timer. And once you start eating that cake, I will know. No matter what the scenario could be, no matter what we're asking Olin to do, he has a price. He will do it for a certain price.
Usually $20.
We'll be back. Close the go hour.
Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks is good to be right.
All right. Welcome back to the final segment of the Go Out. We're going to try to see into the future here, and we're going to bank on it. Presented by Vera Bank, authentic relationship banking built for life. Go see Joel Jackson and the team. Learn more at verabank.com. I will say that David left me his rundown for today before he had to step away. And
you
he
ever
has
get caught in a rundown?
Not for very long. Not for very long. I was usually a one throw, and when I got back to the dugout, I get this from my coach, the palms up. Why on earth
would you get caught off base?
Yeah, would a human built like you get in a rundown? So, and he's right. That's the one thing, when you screw something up and you do it, you got to hear it. You got to take the chewing because you screwed up. Yeah. But I will say that David left us his bank on it. Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver with over 100 yards apiece. They're Aggies facing the third worst pass defense.
100 yards apiece. Wow.
So you go to your bank on it?
I was going to say I'm looking for another maybe 300-yard game out of Marcel Reed. All off season, I said over and over that I thought Marcel was going to have this great year, breakout year, and everything. And so I'd be very disingenuous if I gave up on it now, especially when you're talking about a secondary that's been struggling. How about this? I'll even go on. Marcel's going to hit one of those long ones, one of those long 50-yard passes that have been just overthrown and sometimes just underthrown. He had the one against UTSA. Was it KC or was it Mark?
Wide open.
Nobody within 30. He missed him. And then a couple against Notre Dame. I think one was to Bethel Roman. Maybe?
Yeah, there was one to Amari Nyblack.
Nyblack, that's right.
And then there was one to KC.
KC.
So he also had one that KC came back and caught.
Yeah.
And he had one that KC came back and was unable to hold on to. But but if you just want to look at the overthrows, the Aggies were less than a foot away from throwing for 550-something yards.
And so I'm thinking Marcel's been working on that. Throw it into the bucket. His dad even told me that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I'm looking for him to drop one or two of them in the bucket, just like he did to Noah Thomas against LSU, right? Remember that one?
Yes.
That arcing one. So I'm looking for that for one of those long 50-yard completions.
I'm going to bank on the collective running back room running for over 140 yards.
Okay.
Because we talked about Auburn's run defense. It does look good on paper, and they do have good players in the front seven. I can't remember an Auburn team where you looked at their front seven and you went, man, they don't have the players. Regardless of what their record says, they're typically physically capable in their front seven on defense. But I think Le'Veon Moss was just getting lathered up. Like, he's still not all the way back to me.
I think got all the way back on that 3rd and 12.
Sure. But you can see what I'm saying is you see signs of him coming back. And then you just figure that one of those other ones is going to pop. Amari Daniels has a kind of a history. He'll pop a big run every now and then. Had a big one against Auburn last time they played here. So did Reuben Owens, right? So I think I feel good about where the running back room is. The Auburn defense statistically is good, but I'm Missouri on them. Show me.
Okay. Show them, Aggies.
Tomorrow at 2:30 inside Kyle Field. OB, thanks for hanging out, making it work, moving some things around. When we come back, 9 o'clock hour, we'll see when Billy Liucci is going to make his way, meander in here. But we have SEC Mike, Jake Crain, and then a lot of Liucci heading into the final countdown with the McKinney brothers here on a Friday edition of TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. All right, welcome back to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are inside the Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy Liucci to my left, and right in front of me on this television screen, a great friend of the program, joining us on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline, Michael Bratton, more eloquently known as SEC Mike. Mike, an enormous slate, right? This is the one whenever you look at the SEC calendar before the season starts, you're like, all right, week 5, I've got to be in front of the TV, sun up to sundown. What is your plans for this Saturday?
I'm going to act like Billy Liucci here. Let me get on the phone. I'm going to big time you here. But no, I'm going to be glued to my couch. I ain't moving. I don't care. I'm actually missing a wedding this weekend, and there's no guilt on this end because I looked at this slate when I got invited to this thing, and I said, buddy, good luck. You want to move it to Friday, I'll be there. But otherwise, I'm watching football.
How disappointed is Cousin Shane that you're not going to his wedding?
Wow.
Hey, you want to know the true story? And I've never let him forget this. I wasn't invited to Cousin Shane's wedding. How about that?
Wow. Yeah, good. Hey, you know what, Mike? Good for you. I would happily take like not being invited to something like that to be able to lord that over someone forever. Unfortunately, right. Bronny did invite me to his wedding.
He showed up late, Mike.
So I
showed up late to my wedding.
I was like that guy hiding behind the tree looking at, I was literally behind some trees waiting for the service to be over. But the way I had walked up from the parking lot, it was like, everyone's going to see me walking up. There was no way to get up there to the ceremony outdoors. So I was standing behind a tree, and I zoomed in on him to show him where I was watching, just to prove that, hey, I at least watched it.
You did make it for the ceremony.
I couldn't hear anything, but I could see it.
What? Hey, I saw you in Pate's wedding highlight video. So.
Oh, boy, did you, yeah. Everybody did, Mike.
Hey, somebody said the comments were great. Some of the comments were amazing.
Somebody said you like a rabid raccoon or something.
Yeah, and somebody said I look like, they were like, was he in the wedding or at the wedding? I'm like, it's a formal wedding. I'm sorry I wore a tux. It's a formal wedding. Other people had them too.
And I believe it was sponsored by Academy. So, I mean, he's just, we all know how good he is at his job, but he's on another level when it comes to marketing.
Yeah, it's insane. He gets it, doesn't he? We could all take notes over there. But it was a great wedding. Biloxi, Mississippi. And then I had another one the next day over in your neck of the woods in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So we went back to back.
All right, you want to get on some games?
Yeah, I mean,
it's a huge slate. We talked about weddings for the first 10 minutes, but so let's start. 2 minutes, let's start in the state of Mississippi, Mike. A lot has been made about the off the field shenanigans of Lane Kiffin, his daughter Whit Weeks, but on the field, this promises to be a really intriguing matchup. The line at 1.5 to me says Vegas knows this is a pick'em. Which side of this one are you on?
Well, I mean, if I could just say it simply, I think LSU should win, but I think Ole Miss will win. Okay. But I don't have a ton of confidence in that prediction. Like you said, I think it's a complete toss-up. We don't know who Ole Miss is going to play at quarterback. I mean, I know there's been reports it's going to be Trinidad Chambliss. Lane Kiffin is the only coach that is unwilling to play fair when it comes to the injury report. So who the heck really knows who it'll be? But I think Chambliss, the hot hand, you play him anyway. LSU's defense, I'm not buying that they're quite elite. I think they're very, very good. But given that DJ Lagway gave him 5 interceptions and we've seen what Clemson has turned into, I think it's fair to question how elite LSU's defense truly is. We'll find out Saturday. If we're talking Blake Baker, LSU's defensive coordinator, versus Lane Kiffin, even though he's a little shady, he's a fantastic offensive play caller. Yeah. I like Lane Kiffin, the edge there, and I've not seen enough from Garrett Nussmeier. I think he might be slightly overrated, and quite frankly, he's not getting a lot of help. LSU can't run the football. I think LSU falls just short in this one.
We're on the same page, and we're on the same page on everything you said, and I've been on that page with LSU all year, not just when Clemson faltered since they played LSU, but I watched that game and I saw that Clemson offense. I think both things can be true, Mike, right? Like LSU's defense can be significantly improved, but not be this elite monster that the folks in Baton Rouge are leading you to believe that it is and have been trying to push all offseason because there's a high NIL number attached to it. And the reason why is the defense was that bad last year. Now, I think they're significantly improved, and I think that is why they'll have a great chance to win, over there in Oxford this weekend. But I like Ole Miss in a really close one, and the reason why is what you just said. I don't trust the LSU offense yet.
Yeah, Mike, speaking of trust, do you trust Kalen DeBoer and Ty Simpson to go into Athens and pull that upset? Because I said it in the first hour, we can't bet in the state of Texas yet. But if I were laying money, I don't know which team I like more, but I know which head coach I like more, and I would be fine losing money betting on Kirby Smart.
You can bet in Texas. You just can't do it legally. You just got to know somebody.
Well, you got Italian ties, right? Okay.
You don't even have to be Italian.
Yeah, I got some connections. I can hook you up too down there. So let me know if you're interested.
I got you. Okay.
I get you. Yeah, I mean Kirby Smart, he is the best. I think it's unquestionable. He's the best coach in college football right now. But I like to call DeBoring because he's very DeBoring. But he is a big game coach, and he beat Kirby Smart last year in a similar spot. He's beaten Sarkisian. He's beaten Dan Lanning. This guy gets up for these big games. Now, I thought FSU was a big game, but apparently his team didn't. So, we kind of left Alabama for dead after that. They've been lights out since. I actually like Alabama to go into Georgia and beat the Dogs this weekend. Not very confident in that pick either, because for all the reasons, I get it. Georgia probably is the best team in the Southeastern Conference, but I wonder how much we are enamored with Georgia after that Tennessee game. Here's the thing not enough people are talking about, because I think they're getting swept up in Tennessee's offense. I think Tennessee's defense, particularly the secondary, they could be awful this year. I mean, everybody's lighting them up. Even UAB had success last week. Syracuse in the opener. I think Georgia might be just a hinge overrated. I think Alabama gets that win.
It is it's one of the weird point in the year where it's early, but it's not. We're going into week 4, but most of these teams have played one game against somebody that matters. Some have played none. Most have played only one. So it is tough to kind of tell, to me, Gunnar Stockton does not make that throw 9 times out of 10 to beat Tennessee. Georgia was that close to losing that game. That's like a 10% throw on 4th down by Gunnar Stockton. I've got to see more. Isn't Jam Miller coming back this week?
Yes, he's going to play this week.
Mike, I tend to lean the direction of the guy we're talking to right here, but I'm not going all the way in. Now, you know what? I am. I'm going Bama in Athens to win that one with.
And I'll say this: Ty Simpson playing much better. Yeah. Much better. Was he like 41 of his last 46?
Yeah,
he's been incredibly efficient. Now, Wisconsin might be the worst
bad football
team, but he has got some confidence to get his. It feels like the offense is going to be much more efficient, like we saw,
and against maybe a porous second.
Yeah.
We're on the same page so far.
Okay, and then Mike go ahead.
And I also, maybe this is just this is not how I should predict games, but things I want to see happen. I hate when we get a month into the season and we say, okay, Georgia, or it doesn't have to be Georgia, whoever is the dominant team and everybody's playing for second. For me, the narrative is so much more fun if Alabama wins this game.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think we're sitting here saying, well, who in the heck is the best team in the SEC? And it could literally change week to week. So personally, that's way more fun to me.
It's way more fun to think of Vandy A&M SEC title game, or a Missouri Tennessee, or Vandy Georgia, or I'm not going to say Texas. We don't want to hear OU A&M. Bring back the 2012 Cotton Bowl. I mean, there's a million. I mean, look, there are infinite possibilities right now for Atlanta. And I think even if Georgia wins, there still are, right? I don't think that makes them the dominant team. I think that makes them one of the favorites to get there, right? But yeah, it's an absolute free-for-all, Mike. I don't remember ever seeing it like this, to a lesser degree last year. But when you had divisions, it's never been this wide open. And when you had Nick Saban, it's never been this wide open.
Yeah, and so, Mike, when you're looking at this SEC slate, there's one game in particular that probably nobody's going to be watching because of when it falls in the day and the two teams that are playing in it. But I'm telling you, it's going to ramp up some hot seat talk for the loser in a major way. And I'm talking about Kentucky and South Carolina. Nobody talking about it, but I'm super intrigued because there are some warm to fiery seats already in this league. Somebody's temperature is getting turned up on Saturday night.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because if South Carolina loses at home to Kentucky, who I think Kentucky's the worst team in this conference, I think the Gamecock fans may pack Beamer's bags
for Blacksburg
to Virginia Tech for him. You know what I mean? So, and it was not 2.5, 3 weeks ago. They were number, I think, 12 in the country. I mean, that's insane, but that's the reality of the situation. So, I think Mark Stoops should have been fired a long time ago. I think he's an average coach. I get it. He's the winningest coach in Kentucky. That's fantastic. He's about 30 games under 500 in the conference.
Mike, were you posting on TexAgs like sometime a couple of Decembers ago? Were you one of those guys?
I was.
If so, thank you.
Screaming, do not hire this man.
Thank you for your service.
Disaster. But hey, we're already seeing that in Kentucky. So this is not a very good team.
No.
They got a first-time quarterback on the road. Again, if they beat Lenore Sellers and company, this is a massive, massive issue for Beamer. So I'm pretty confident South Carolina gets it done. There's no excuses for losing this game. But I do, even though every bad thing I said about Kentucky, I like where they invested in the offseason. They invested on the offensive line. They invested at running back. And that's kind of Mark Stoops' bread and butter. And they are a very good running team. That's what killed South Carolina last week against Missouri. Couldn't stop the run.
Yeah, it could. If they start running for 5, 6, 7 yards a pop, it could get late really early in Columbia.
You love that saying.
I do love that saying.
Baseball season, football, it gets late early, Callie. It gets
versatile.
Listen,
it's a very versatile saying.
Because they will take Mark Stoops in Kentucky will take the air out of the ball for
absolutely.
Sure.
It's a good game plan.
I think South Carolina wins this, and I think it's Mark Stoops that ultimately look. That guy, I don't know. I know it's a basketball school, but their standards have to be higher now. I get why you hung on to him when you did, because he took them to a place of relevancy they hadn't been. But I think enough's enough. You Mike, right? We've done this long enough. You can look at a coach at a certain school, and it's very clear when that's run its course, and that they're not going to get back to where they were or go above, where they are. And that's where they're at in Lexington. And honestly, win or lose on Saturday for them. But the Beamer part of it is pretty interesting.
Mike Liucci has got his pick coming up here later in the show. We are going to put you on the spot here. Aggies and Auburn across the street here in College Station, 2:30 tomorrow inside of Kyle Field. Could be looked at as a swing game for both teams. Obviously, A&M with the win over Notre Dame, a ton of momentum. People are now talking about A&M being a 9-win team, 10-win team. You don't get there without this win over a vastly improved Auburn team. Which side of this one are you on?
Yeah, all these games, but really this one I think is possibly the biggest coin toss in all the conference this weekend. So what a matchup. I think Auburn got robbed last week. I think they still probably would have lost despite the horrible officiating. But, is that still lingering in their mind? Can they run the football on Texas A&M? I think that's going to be critical. And Jackson Arnold, so dynamic, not necessarily throwing the football, but running. And Oklahoma did such a good job corralling that. Can A&M do that? I don't know. I've not necessarily seen that. I know they got better against Notre Dame, but I don't look at C.J. Carr as much of a dual threat, not nearly to the caliber of Jackson Arnold. And quite honestly, if I was A&M, I would have rather kept playing after beating Notre Dame, getting that hot team, staying them on the field a little bit early of a bye. Could that potentially hurt them in this matchup? This is going to be one heck of a game. I like Auburn to lose to Texas A&M.
Wow.
So shout out the Aggies. I think they keep it going.
Easy there, Corso. Not so fast.
And this really could be the beginning of the end for old Auburn, because I agree. I think they're a good team, but I really don't think Hugh Freeze is that good of a coach. He's dead last in the SEC among active coaches in one-score ball games right now. So I think he loses another one-score game, and they got Georgia next. They got Missouri after that. I mean, just two of the hottest teams in the conference. So I think that fan base could turn on him pretty quickly.
Yeah, that, I said before the season, if A&M is to have a more successful season than people were predicting them to and contend for a playoff berth or for Atlanta, they might end a few coaching tenures along the way. And you look at what's coming up, they could start, like you said, start that spiral for Hugh Freeze. They could end it for guys like Napier and Pittman, although you heard my Pittman prediction yesterday. I don't think he gets that far. But you start looking at things like that, and then you even mentioned Beamer. South Carolina's not firing him, but it could be one where it's like, you're sitting there talking to your agent going, do I actually leave now and go to West Virginia? Virginia Tech. So anyway, if they're going to get it done this year, and oh, by the way, if LSU loses tomorrow and drops another one along the way,
it's going to get loud there.
People get sick of Brian Kelly. Anything more than 2 this year, and I think they're going to be annoyed. He'll be on the hot seat at least. So up to A&M, you get 3 at home, Mike. And I said this, first half of your SEC schedule, no matter where we think Auburn should be ranked, and I believe they should have beaten OU and would be ranked close to top 15 right now, but you're opening SEC play with 4 unranked teams, 3 at home. That is rare. You don't get that opportunity often. I am assuming Tennessee beats Mississippi State, but you're probably going in with 4 unranked teams to start your schedule, 3 at home. They set it up by beating Notre Dame. Now you have to capitalize on the opportunity.
Yeah, and to your point about Auburn, why aren't they ranked? How dumb are these polls where you go on the road? Oklahoma's 11 in one poll.
Yeah.
So you drop out by losing to them with several questionable calls. I don't understand how that knocks you out of the top 25.
And I always laughed at the Notre Dame ranking because it's like, I get that they were 0-2, and it's like, well, they haven't even won a game yet. So I understand that, but it is funny when that week you look up and Miami's number 3 and A&M's number 10, and Notre Dame literally lost on essentially the last play to each of those teams, the number 3 team and the number 10 team, one on the road, and they're sitting all the way back at 24 when it's clear they're a better team. But it always is that balance. Is it merit or is it how good you think the teams are? So we'll see. The people I really hate are the ones that rank based on how they think a team's going to finish. Well, they have an easy schedule, so I think they're going to be 11-1. So I'm going to look smart by putting them in my top 5 early, even though I don't think they're one of the 10 best teams in the country.
Hey, Mike, real quick before we let you go, got about 30 seconds on the SEC officiating and the statement after that game again between Auburn and Oklahoma.
I can't remember in my life that they ever releasing a statement like that in a conference game, maybe in a non-conference game, but it is ridiculous. We got to do something about the officiating. I think Greg Sankey, this should be a big priority in the offseason.
What about Arkansas Auburn? Did they do one then too? That was one where Auburn got I felt like they did something on that one with that fumble by Bo Nix that wasn't.
I don't recall them releasing a statement saying they screwed it up.
They might not have.
Well, like you said, though, Mike, the goal should be get the call right. Oklahoma clearly cheated. They used it, and that's an ineligible play. You can't do that. It's a 15-yard penalty and a loss of down. Not saying they don't go on to win the game, but that's a massive hit. The goal should be to get the call right. Why isn't that reviewable? That's my question.
Well, it will be from now on, but that doesn't help Auburn.
Mike, I appreciate your time. Enjoy. What a great Saturday coming up, man. Enjoy it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, that was SEC Mike on the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. When we come back, Jake Crain of Crain & Company joins the show as we continue to get you ready for the Aggies in Auburn tomorrow at Kyle Field on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. All right, welcome back to TexAgs Live, the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. We welcome in a great friend of the program as well, Mr. Jake Crain of Crain & Company out on the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Jake, what a Saturday. How will you spend it?
Ah, man, I mean, what a Friday, too. Got a couple of good ones on this Friday. This Arizona State TCU game, I think is going to be phenomenal. I think it's one of the best bets on the board, too, with the over. How am I going to spend it? Probably like I spend every Saturday, just standing up, not even sitting down in my chair, but standing up, watching the 4-box on YouTube TV and saying like 6 words in an 11-hour period outside of the instant reactions that go on YouTube. But I tell you, man, you know it's a great slate when you've got a blackout and a whiteout in the same weekend.
And both of those games should be highly competitive as well. Is there one of let's look at the SEC slate this weekend. Of all the matchups, is there one that you're like, okay, it's not a frontline highlighted game, but I'm really intrigued to see what happens in this one?
Arkansas, Notre Dame. With Notre Dame going down to Arkansas, with the way both these defenses are playing, and the ability of the offenses that we've seen to score points. Now I know they kind of do it in different ways, even though CJ Carr had more carries than Jeremiah Love in the first game against Miami, which is malpractice in my opinion. But these offenses are going to be able to score. You know, Notre Dame's going to stay in man, even though they haven't rushed the passer well. So why they're giving up a lot of these explosives, and a lot of what Taylon Green and this Bobby Petrino-laden offense have done is hit explosive plays to be able to put up big points. They just haven't found ways to win games at the end. So I actually think Arkansas is going to win that game. I know, you know, a lot of Texas A&M fans probably aren't going to want to hear that, but I actually think Arkansas is one of the best dog bets on the board this weekend. I think it was at plus 165 last time I saw it, something like that.
I think it's going to be really close. I think Notre Dame will find a way to pull it off. It might be with those two running backs have to go for 250.
They could.
They could, and they might look like McFadden and Felix Jones. They might be bringing back those memories to the folks in Fayetteville, but I get what you're saying. I do. That Notre Dame defense had it. I mean, Craver and Concepcion made some incredible plays, but there were also Marcel came on the show and he and I talked about it last week. You know, he said we left a lot of yards out there. You know, and so they were getting behind that defense. Now I think the A&M line's a lot better than Arkansas's, but Arkansas is significantly improved. But Notre Dame, like you said, they're getting no pressure. I think they have to almost come off of that 4-man pass rush, or Taylon Green's just going to have way too much time. I think that's going to be a fun game. I'm with you right up until the end. I think Notre Dame wins a high-scoring close one. I'll be honest with you, Jake. It sounds like A&M fans going to want Notre Dame to win that one. But I think if you told them you're going to beat Auburn tomorrow, if that happened, I don't think anyone at that point would really care as much about Notre Dame and how they do as we do sitting here today. Because I think the magic number for the Aggies and everybody else, right, is just it's a race to 10 and then let it sort
It's a race to 10. It's you know, I will say this too, though, Billy, on that point. You know, if you're a Texas A&M fan, obviously you want everything that's out of your control now to go your way.
Yeah.
And I tell Auburn fans a similar thing. A&M and some of these programs got to get out of the business of hoping to rely on just other people to make it so they can backdoor their way into something.
Yeah,
you guys are in position to go. You go take it yourself, right? You go handle your own business. A&M is too good of a program not to go and handle their own business. All the stuff on the periphery, whether Notre Dame beats Arkansas, whether Notre Dame loses to Arkansas, and again, I'm not discounting it, but A&M's to the point now where you control your own destiny, go out and fulfill the prophecy, man, and they're good enough to do it. But I tell you, it's a hard spot for Chris Ash to be in as a defensive coordinator when you got to say, well, we got to do one of two things. Either I've got to rush 3 and play coverage, which can kill me because the quarterback will have a ton of time and can still take off, whether that be a spy or another guy in coverage, or we have to just abandon our whole identity of playing man coverage and just bring pressure from fire zones and things like that, dropping guys out of helicopters and stuff. So I do not envy him, but Notre Dame's got a big problem on that side of the ball. And I thought Auburn had the same problem until they went to Oklahoma and defensively looked a lot better than what they had.
Yeah, talk to us about Auburn, because you are, to me, we're not going to talk to anyone this week Jake, with a bet. If I'm talking to anybody about Auburn football, it's going to be you or Cole Kubelik.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, of course. It's what I do, Jake. You know.
Yeah.
You know. So, but I'm being serious, and you know that. So tell us about Auburn and what you learned from them last weekend, and where do they create problems for A&M, and where do the Aggies create problems for the Tigers?
Well, I think one of the main things that I learned about Auburn is that what Auburn still hasn't learned, and that's how to win big games in close games. I mean, you look at Hugh Freeze; he's 1-9 against the AP top 25, I think. Whether that's on the road or in general, I'd have to go back and look. And you look at one-score games; he's got the worst winning percentage of any coach in the SEC. And you're year 3 at Auburn, and you can blame the officials all you want, and they were horrible. That the Hyde play, I actually, when I was the special teams guy at South Alabama, got a flag thrown on me because we did it on a field goal when we were swapping out the field goal team for the offense against Georgia State on the road, and it worked. But they flagged me. But you still had a lead with 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Despite all of that, say what you want about the officials, and John Mateer took the ball right down the field, and then you did nothing on the offensive side. So if it's a close game at the end for A&M, you got to feel great as an A&M fan because, like I said, one team has showed us that in the big moment at the end of the game, like they did against Notre Dame, they can go down and win it. Auburn, so far under Hugh Freeze, has just, when it's gotten thick at the end against good opponents, has just curled up in a ball and hoped the barn didn't blow down.
Yeah.
And that's until they show me that consistently, I'm never going to feel good about the dog that this team has in it because you got to go prove it. But as far as the problems they present for A&M, this offense can be really, 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 really lethal when the run game is at the forefront. And the pass game, whether it be play action, whether it be quick game, whether it be shots against skinny coverage, is kind of the second thing you go to. This is not a pass to run offense. It doesn't have the ability, because Jackson Arnold's not a pure enough passer right now to be able to consistently do that. And we saw that against Oklahoma. But if they're able to run the ball consistently, 3.5, 4 yards a pop, this offense can get really, really hot. And where I think Auburn has the biggest mismatch advantage over A&M is the ability to run the ball consistently against this front seven on defense, especially when I look at who's leading defensively in total tackles for A&M, and two of those guys are DBs. One's a safety and one's a corner.
Yeah.
You don't want that this far into the season. You'd much rather see a couple more linebackers or another defensive lineman up there, because that means that you're, guys are getting to the secondary, or you're having to bring pressure from the secondary against, on run downs, kind of run stunts to stop it. And this Auburn offensive line, even though Oklahoma pushed them around, I think it's the best one they've had in a while. So if Auburn's able to stay on schedule with Jackson Arnold, it could present a problem against A&M. And I think if you're an A&M fan, your biggest worry is on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, I watched UTSA. I've watched A&M play, which is weird because it's against type for Mike Elko. So that's where they're going to cause the most problems. But I think actually special teams could be huge in this game because Auburn has struggled so much in that arena. And when you got a guy like Bussey back there that can make plays, and you got a field goal kicker that I know he's 2 of 4, but 2 of those misses were from deep. I know Bond can consistently make field goals. Auburn basically has a guy with a peg leg out there kicking right now if you've watched him, and it's just
like a pirate.
It's been a struggle for 3 years. And I'm not even talking about McPherson. Apparently he's doing better. Hope his stomach works, whatever. But the other guy that came in from Southern Miss, I mean, that looked like me off the tee box at number 1 before the breakfast ball.
Golly.
Hey, Jake, really interesting. I think the injury report is something I want to ask you about. Billy said that you're going to know as much about this Auburn roster as anybody. How big or not big is the loss of Horatio Fields and then Amaris Williams and Connor Lew listed as questionable? If those guys aren't able to go or able to go full steam, would that change kind of your outlook on the game?
If Connor couldn't go, I mean, he's the center. So if he can't go, that's, obviously a huge deal. That could maybe mitigate some of that advantage that I just talked about in the run game. And then, the guy that helps Jackson set the pass for he's an NFL player.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's one of the best centers in the country. Amaris, I don't believe played against Oklahoma, and from an athleticism standpoint, and just freakishly built human being. He looks like the guys that A&M have brought. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like just freakishly built human being. Getting him back would be a huge, not only piece at the forefront, but for depth as well. Horatio, it was kind of a security blanket a little bit for Jackson. If you go back and look at that Baylor game on that big 3rd and 8, they didn't go to Cam Coleman. They didn't go to Singleton Jr. They went to the older guy, Horatio Fields, who has strong hands. He's made a couple good plays. Not the most talented guy Auburn has, but he's consistent. But this is why you have Perry Thompson. This is why you brought in that monster from down there in Mobile, right? He's had his redshirt year. He should be a huge mismatch, and at some point you've got to go out there in the field and prove it. So would the loss of the most devastating loss would be if Connor Lew didn't play, even though having said that, but I think Connor's going to play.
He came back in that OU game, didn't he?
Yeah. He came back in there. I mean, he's your run of the mill, hard nose. I don't know if I can cuss on here, but tough ass, I guess, is the best way to say it up front. So, he's he's that type of guy.
I was gonna ask you, and now you have completely. Oh, I was just gonna say something interesting before we go. I did talk to a longtime SEC head coach, assistant, somebody that's been doing it a long time on the offensive side, and he had this to say. He's been watching a lot of college football this year, and he said 8 is the best receiver in college football, period. And he said,
nice, Billy.
And he said the 2 at A&M are the best 1-2 in college football, period. Mm-hmm. That was his assessment. So he's kind of got this game circled as far as and again, this A&M defense, I think the key is going to be. I don't think they take a giant leap into shutting down an Auburn offense with some of these weapons and the ability to be balanced, but I think this is the week where if they can get back to what we've seen sometimes when Elko's had to compensate, which is bend, don't break, force a couple of turnovers. I think that's A&M's path to a comfortable victory, but I think it's going to be a 1-score game. I do like the home team, though.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a reason this one's a 6.5, 7-point spread.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've got those 2 twins with their ponytails tied together underneath that casino. They can see the future. They know what they're doing out there in Vegas. Here's the first thing about the wide receivers. Yes, Cam Coleman to me could very well be the first wide receiver taken off the board. Look, he's a true sophomore, so he can't even go pro this year. But they do it in different ways, because where I worry as an Auburn guy about Craver and Concepcion is not beating me vertically on the deep ball. It's what they do after the catch.
Yeah.
Like that to me is where they make their money. Like Craver, especially for a little guy, can really, really do some things after the catch. He runs really, really hard. Cam Coleman is more of a, hey man, just run, man. Just run, and we're going to throw this thing up. Singleton Jr. is your slot guy that's kind of a little bit in that Craver Concepcion realm. But, I mean, Billy, here, how do you think they're – if you're A&M, I don't know how you don't look at the way that Auburn played Baylor, or the way that Baylor played Auburn, the way that Oklahoma played Auburn defensively, and say, well, why don't we just load the box and make Jackson Arnold beat us with his arm? And you know what? In the first half, if he's able to do that, then we'll adjust. I mean, you can sit there and play it even – but I think A&M's played even a lot this year, and it hasn't worked out great for them. So, if Auburn comes out in 11 personnel, whether it's 2x2, whether it's 3x1, whether it's attached, whether it's detached, I would make Jackson Arnold throw it to beat me regardless of who's running around there on the outside. Whether that's playing off, but you make the throws easier, or do you play it tight and say, hey, man, you're going to have to either, beat us off the line, or you're going to have to hit us with the back shoulder.
Yeah.
I would force the action on Jackson Arnold.
Jake, always appreciate your time, man. I know you'll be glued to the TV for this one across the street, but all of the action here on Saturday. Always appreciate your time. Enjoy this tomorrow. It'll be awesome.
Oh, put it in a bucket and pour it all over me. By the way, we need to figure it out in the Ryder Cup. I talked way too much trash this week for us to be playing like this.
Yeah. All right,
man,
buddy.
have a good one.
See you guys.
See ya.
All right, Jake Crain joining the show here on a Friday morning. We roll right along. More Billy to end this hour before we welcome in the Brothers Grimm, Steve and Seth McKinney, for the final countdown ahead of A&M Auburn tomorrow on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. All right, short segment here. Billy has excused himself for a little bit. I don't know. We just got some short segments coming up. We went a little bit long with Jake Crain. Who cares? It was great. Good content, wholesome content for you guys to get you ready for a massive college football weekend. Callie Gardner has decided that we are going to fill this one segment, short segment, with her singing some Morgan Wallen, some John Pardee. Is that what you said you wanted to do?
John Pardee, you put the accent on the I.
I don't think there's an I in his name. It's Pardee, is it?
Incorrect. Wrong.
Well, Jack Pardee was a great Aggie football player, and I thought it was spelt the same.
Negative.
Oh, it is an I. How do you say it?
Don't test me on my country music.
John
people.
Pardee?
John Pardee.
Oh, I wonder how he says it.
Definitely says it John Pardee.
Have you listened to him say it?
Probably.
Probably. So you're just guessing too. You got some text messages.
Yeah, I've got two that I kind of want to wrap into one. It's both in the YouTube chat. Someone commented, I wonder how hesitant SEC officials will be to make calls against Auburn after the OU debacle. And someone also commented on the Aggies potentially starting the game without pre-snap penalties or a hold. Is that too much to ask?
You'd hope not. You'd hope they'd be getting better at that as the season goes on. But listen, it's a conspiracy theory now because Auburn sent the letter, or the letter got sent out after Auburn got screwed in Norman last week. I'm not going to go into this game with some kind of like mindset that the referees are going to be out to screw A&M as instructed by the SEC league offices. Now, I could watch the game and be maybe convinced otherwise, but I just think that's a little far-fetched. And I don't think I've talked to some people. I actually met some people in Utah that are very connected in the football world, and they dispelled that pretty handily, and they would know way more than I think a lot of folks that come up with these scenarios. But I know A&M fans will be looking for it, and so the first time a questionable call goes Auburn's way, I'm sure the TexAgs message board will go ablaze with accusations. All right, when we come back, we will close the 9 o'clock hour, getting ready for my favorite hour of the week on TexAgs Live. What about you, Nick? Final countdown, your favorite hour?
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
and I get to sit here in the middle of it, and I'm going to sit. We're riding the lightning this morning. Me and Nick Savage are riding the lightning. We're going to have a good time here with the McKinney brothers come in to wrap up the show. One more segment here before we get there, though. You're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever, and also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group, and they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports, and they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em.
I know I ain't had one in over a week. Somebody pour me a double shot.
We can just fill this final segment, Nick, with Callie singing if you're okay with that.
No, I don't think I want that.
Hey, I saw a guy in the gym. He had this shirt on, Nick. Maybe you can explain to me about this band because I'd never heard of them. And the font and what was on his shirt, the graphicness of the tee, made me think that you've probably listened to this band before. It was called Cannibal Corpse.
Oh, yeah, of course. What's that, Callie?
Something that's going to get us taken off the airwaves.
What?
You can't be playing registered music while we're on YouTube.
It won't stop.
Well, then I don't know why. Callie's phone is possessed.
I know. Oh, I know. Trust me. I've
For
seen her go
everybody
to
that
war
doesn't
with
think your phone is listening, for the last, how long is this going on?
Like 3 weeks, and it turns it up, and I don't know how to fix it.
So Callie's phone, we were talking about Morgan Wallen and John Pardee during the break, and out of nowhere, her phone starts playing John Pardee. This happened the other day with Bad Bunny, correct? You and Nuño were talking about it, and Nuño said, oh, that's weird. So Nuño just grabbed her phone and just said Bad Bunny like 20 times into the phone. Was it 15 minutes later?
Yeah, we were at
It plays
lunch.
Bad Bunny.
And
So
I
if
don't
you-
listen to Bad Bunny, never have.
So if you don't believe that your phone is listening to you, Callie Garner's phone is example A that it definitely is. Somebody somewhere out there is listening to you. And I don't know how it's gotten into your phone where it just comes out, but like this is an Instagram ad. You know, if you ever talk to, like I'll talk to my wife, like, hey, we need back furniture for the back patio. And all of a sudden I'll start getting ads for
furniture
on the back patio on my Instagram. This is exactly.
Come on, dude.
We'll be right back on TexAgs Live.
It's not time yet.
It's not time yet.
Billy just
We
came
still
in
got a
here
few
and
minutes to tap dance.
screaming at me. But so back patio furniture shows up on my Instagram, right? So we know that it listens to us, and you have turned off all that though, or you thought you did?
No, I've turned off those features, and somehow it's very constant, and it used to just be completely random. And one day, Bronny texted me about a song that I have never once looked up on my phone. I'm not going to say what song it is.
It was Terrence Keel's walk-up song.
No, it was the other one.
Oh.
And that's not a normal song anyone listens to. No one.
But it's
just
also
searches
played
that
like
up.
Rattling Bog and stuff, right?
Oh, completely. And 5 o'clock. It started with it's 5 o'clock somewhere,
It's
which
the most-
really felt, Yeah,
that's appropriate for you
very
and your friend group. Would you say that the most random one it played would be the Home Depot theme song?
That's.
Would you say that's random or?
It's random.
Oh,
It's very random.
interesting. All right, when we come back, Liucci and the McKinneys. That was a great segment. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
It's just so stupid. He would have done it for.
Welcome back to TexAgs Live, where the great cake debate continues here as we welcome in the Brothers Grimm. To my left, far left, Steve McKinney, Seth McKinney.
Only one of us is Grimm. Yeah, it's not me. Yeah.
We are. The final countdown is presented by La Casa Tequila. Thankfully, Seth did not run them off in week one with his commentary, but they stayed.
I love how this has just all come back to that week.
We had lunch with Drake last week at another proud sponsor.
We did.
It was barbecue place up the road that you might know as 1775.
Delicious.
Not one that we're going to make weird meat jokes about like a couple other people on this show, but one that just has really damn good food. We had a great lunch with Drake, so Seth is now, I think, fully on board with La Casa Tequila.
Yeah. I learned a lot about tequila the bubble from that lunch, actually.
You learned a lot?
A lot about tequila, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you just learned a lot in general.
By the way, here we go. You just turned him from Burbinger to Worminger.
I don't know anything about tequila. Now there's three different types.
Exactly. So now that you know and you've said you learned about tequila, he's going to try to one-up you and go watch some YouTube videos. Well, you know how they make tequila.
It's agave. That's all I know.
It's the agave plant in Mexico.
Yeah.
I have heard that it can't be called tequila unless it's made in Mexico. Is that correct?
I have heard that.
In Mexico, but also like even a specific part of Mexico.
There is it's
there's a lot to it.
If y'all would remember, he told you got it straight from the mouth.
You didn't really learn that much, it sounds like.
I didn't say I remembered all of it. Just learned a lot and then forgot most of it when I left.
We'll start with you then, Steve. Have you learned anything in the bye week that has made you feel better about what's going to happen tomorrow across the street with A&M and Auburn?
I don't know that I learned anything during the bye week, but I would say that I learned that we have a team that I think's built to make a playoff run, and I think cleaning up the run defense is probably the biggest priority that I'm hoping to see on Saturday. Like if we can figure out a way to hold them in check on the run. Obviously, we're not gonna shut them down completely, but if we can keep them from grinding us out through the whole game, controlling the line of scrimmage, controlling time of possession, if we can do those things offensively, I'm confident with what we're doing offensively. It's hard to envision another team just completely shutting us down on offense with our ability to throw the ball, run the ball, and make plays off script with Marcel.
Seth, is there too much made of the bye weeks in terms of your team getting better, or is it generally a recovery time? Like, I think a lot of fans view it as, okay, we have a bye week, we're going to be X amount or X% better than we were the last time we played. How realistic is that?
I think the best thing about a bye week is just getting the guys that were dinged up healthy again and rested and getting remotivated. But there's really nothing you're going to do over the bye week that's going to make you better. There are definitely times where it could make you worse if you go out there and just grind too hard and try to make that like another 2 days. Steve knows all about that. Were you throwing a shot at RC?
No.
I was mainly throwing a shot at you specifically. Like I said, let's go do 2 days. But anyways.
Golly, dude. With friends like you can't get a guy a venti coffee.
RC, I thought this had nothing to do with Coach Slogan, the greatest A&M coach of all time.
Oh, now you're offending Jackie Sherrill.
Oh, that's
great job.
RC was my coach, so I can do that. But no, I'm really excited to get everybody back. Cronover's back apparently, and so I mean that's going to be a good thing for us to experience out there with the defensive end that they've got going on with Falk. So that's the biggest thing is get everyone healthy.
Hey, when did Crownover leave? Back.
You meant fathering.
Oh, my bad, fathering.
You meant fathering.
Sorry.
You know me. Anybody else, I wouldn't have done it because it's over.
I saw you.
I saw the reaction. I was like, what did I do?
We all knew what you were talking about.
How much do you think he's going to play?
Well, he practiced all week.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, and practiced, a lot. Here's the thing about Fothery that's interesting. We all remember Ruben Fothery as a true freshman and the job he did against Will Anderson and me, you guys, you as a recruiter, everyone else, the fans, we all thought this is going to be the next top 10 pick at tackle. And it hasn't worked out that way for him. And it was too high expectation too soon. But all this guy's done is quietly get better. He didn't transfer when he wasn't guaranteed a starting spot last year, and he split time on the right side. He didn't transfer again this year when you were returning Zune and Crown over. Could have gone and looked for a more sure thing at a lesser program. He stayed here. I believe he had already graduated, stayed here, gets hurt in camp, and now he's back. It's a big deal that he's back. Just think about this. One tackle's not playing well. Now you got a third guy you can put in. Mm-hmm. He practices better than somebody for a week or two in a row. You can make that move. You're not getting what you want at one of the guard spots. You can move Naboo to guard and Zune to center and go with Crownover and Fathery. You're not getting what you want. And all this also includes getting banged up. Center, guard, tackle, any of those. Fathery was a huge piece of this. I think he and Coley were two of the most important guys to get back for this very reason. And they're fortunate that they made it through these few weeks. And they, against, what was it? Utah State?
Bourdon played well.
Where Bourdon had to come in and played really well. I thought really, that's great work for him. But long-term over the course of the season, you really want those three veteran tackles.
Yeah, for sure.
And it allows Zune to be as flexible as he is. So your O-line just got a lot better in terms of what they could deal with in terms of during the course of a game.
And they were already doing a good job, so I'll take it.
Steve, you dealt with some injuries throughout your professional career. How long does it take you to come back? Like running backs, I feel like everybody talks about, okay, like Le'Veon coming off the injury. It's going to take him a little bit to get lathered up. What is that adjustment period like for you as an offensive lineman?
I would say as an offensive lineman, I mean, you can get back to almost 100% mentally and physically on the field fairly quick. I mean, how long was he out?
About 6-7 weeks. Yeah.
See, I mean, that's a pretty good run. I mean, that would equate to me to like a grade 2 MCL sprain type injury. And, that first game back, you're going to be a little rusty. You're breaking up a little scar tissue. You're not feeling quite 100%. But, I mean, by the second game, you should be, fully right into the swing.
He's drawn a big assignment, too, with Keldrick Faulkner, best defender.
And the good thing is about the MCL, it hurts and it's going to be painful. But it's not unbearable, and I'm sure you've dealt with it. Everyone gets a little dinged up on their MCL at some point.
So have you?
But I mean, it's definitely
somebody
bearable.
tell y'all that it was the MCL?
No.
I thought that's what you
I was
just said.
just using it as an example of an injury that keep you out that long. That's because that's how I could relate to
I heard MCL. Hey.
But why'd you throw that on me? I wasn't even
throwing
talking.
it all over.
Look, it's a knee, so
Sorry.
that we know. So it's a knee, but
so it could be an MCL.
Could be, but and like when you're trying to think about a timeline, it's not an ACL, so
that makes sense.
Anywho, getting him back is important. I'm skeptical about Scooby. That's still questionable. I would have liked to have seen that turn into a probable, but him sitting at questionable that late in the week, which was yesterday when that went out.
Yeah,
it's a concern. But the good news is for Scooby, whether it's tomorrow, I think it would be next week. It's not. I was told it wasn't something that they think is going to keep him out.
It's not going to linger
for any kind of extended
Well, you'd like him on the field this week because of the athleticism of Jackson Arnold. And maybe, his backup, Damian Sanford, flashed well against Notre Dame. What Damian does well is he runs in space. And so maybe this is a good matchup to have Damian as one of those starting linebackers.
Well, there's a reason Damian is not out there as much as he is. And they typically sit with just two linebackers for the majority of the game. And what I mean by that is I think Damian Sanford's plus plays are really high level. And like you said, when he sees it and closes ground and he hits like he'll run through a tackle. Like he really impresses on the good plays. I think for him not to be playing more than he was, even with Scooby healthy, I think that has more to do with we need to see the down to down out of Damian and make all those routine plays and run fits and because I do think if this guy plays a whole game, he's going to make some impactful plays. I'm fully convinced of that. And of course, of a whole game, it might be a handful of them.
Who comes in after him?
It's the down to down.
Probably Lockhart.
Herrera. Oh, Lockhart.
Seth's
our guy, baby.
We talked about fathering. I didn't with these offensive linemen here. I did want to talk about A&M's success in the run game against an Auburn front seven. And Olin and I talked about this earlier. Even on bad Auburn teams, Billy, it feels like they've always fielded some really capable front sevens. That being said, I do not think that they have been challenged by a legitimate running game, traditional running game yet this year. And I think A&M, you saw Le'Veon start to get back to his old self a little bit, especially late toward Notre Dame. I think A&M can run. The backs can run for 140 yards plus.
Well, how often, Steve, if you're Durkin, who does like those odd fronts, and how often are they going to sit in a light box for fear of Craver and Concepcion? And like you said, just say, hey, we got horses up here. We can do this and hold up against the running game because we got speed in the front seven and we got power up front. If you're going to dare Colin Klein in the run game to do that, then A&M needs to run the ball with success tomorrow. And you mentioned Le'Veon. To me, at Notre Dame, people are sleeping on that, and I get why, because what number 1 did, what number 7 did, and what number 10 did. I get it. He went into South Bend, Indiana, on the road in his first true action back, 3 carries, 10 carries, 20 carries against a real defense versus 13 in 2 games against air defensively. And he ground out 80 yard, 20 carries, 81 yards, and 3 of those yards, 3 or 4 of those yards were on the goal line. And Notre Dame's defense is not what it was under Ash versus their last DC, who's currently in the NFL, but they got freaking players. And I watch a lot of SEC football every year, and Notre Dame's defense still, they looked better last year, but they still have real cats in that front seven that will hit you and smack you. And him punching 3 in from inside, it tells me he's all the way back.
Yeah.
He popped probably, I would want to say 3 runs of 10 yards or more. Maybe
that last one was huge.
The 3rd and 12, and then the first play of the game, he popped one. Like, Le'Veon Moss is back, and the SEC and the country don't know that yet. He did as much against a tough Notre Dame defense as Jeremiah Love did against a defense that even we're sitting here still questioning how they are against the run. And we're talking about how Notre Dame's good against the run, and he did the same amount. So I think Le'Veon's an elite SEC back. You talk about what Auburn typically has. He's that kind of back. And I think this might be the weekend that the league finds out about it again.
Well, Seth, if they come out, if Auburn comes out and they're going to sit there and DJ Durkin saying, I can't let 1 and 7 beat me. They're too explosive. I've got issues on the back end. I've got to be light in the box. That's something I would feel like as offensive lineman, what you take that personal a little bit.
Well, I would beg them to do that because we'll run all over them if they try to give us friendly numbers in the box. And we've got the offense. Look, we've got a really good offense. There is zero denying that. I'm 100% confident. And our guys up front, our quarterback, our running backs, like every person on that offense is legit. And I know that they're not perfect, but we don't have weaknesses. We don't have a weak point, and it's a beautiful thing to be as an offensive coordinator when you can sit up there, dial up, something like I'm sure he's got audibles, right? And if he goes up there and he sees it's a light box, hey, we're going to run every time until they stop us and quit doing this. And as soon as they bring another guy in the box, boom, out the Craver or Concepcion. And like it's going to be an all-day affair with our offense. And we just got to keep the momentum going. Keep the I'm not afraid of ball control too if we have to. And because that's what they're going to do on their offense is try to keep the ball out of our hands.
You feel good about A&M's offense, Steve, as long as they're staying ahead of the change, no bad penalties. How much difference is it? Because we do know Durkin will mix in some odd front stuff. How much time does that take up in practice every week? Because you don't see that very often anymore.
No, I mean, the challenge with his defense, and we used to see it, it's kind of feast or famine. When he was the D coordinator here at A&M, I mean, they thrive on, lost yardage plays, keeping you behind the chains where you're forced into being who you don't want to be. And our ability to even grind out 2 or 3 yards on first down when they're bringing a blitz and trying to get you to 2nd and 11, if we can end up in 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7, we're staying ahead of the chains against that defense because they can't blitz every play. They're going to get burned because they play with fire constantly. We saw it here. Sometimes it's great. You get teams into a 3rd and 12, and you can turn your defensive ends loose and have a chance to pressure the quarterback and get off the field. But if we can stay in those positive chain situations, I think we're going to have a really good day Saturday.
It'll be interesting, too, because they've got an injury at one DN spot. They've got an injury to their best corner who was out against OU. Those guys are listed as what? Probable?
I just had it pulled up. Keep talking.
So they're a little – a couple of those guys won't be playing at 100%, and you never know when one of them you're going to get out there tomorrow and somebody's not suited up. But, yeah, I mean, that secondary, Bronny, can be attacked and needs to be attacked. But for A&M and Colin Klein, I think we're going to talk about this all year. The key is balance.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to throw for 360 yards in South Bend against a Marcus Freeman defense, but they don't win that game unless they've got a very capable effective running game against the Irish. And that's going to be the same case every week. And it's going to be Auburn's key, too, is they're going to say, Hugh Freeze is not a great head coach. He looked like he might be at Ole Miss for a while there. He's not anymore. Okay? He wasn't at Liberty. He's not. But he is I think he's a great game planner, schemer,
offensive coordinator.
And if you've got weaknesses defensively, he is more than capable of exploiting them. And I think part of what he's going to try to do is run the ball a lot. And if they can do that between the tailback and a QB run game, then it sets up play action, deep shot, maybe keep that pass rush off of Jackson Arnold, which they couldn't do last week. But because, like you said, they're ahead of the chains. And quick game. You can't let Jackson Arnold hold that football again 2 weeks in a row like he did to 10 sacks last week. They're going to get him to get rid of the ball quickly, and they're going to challenge. We know Cam Coleman and Des Ricks and Willie. They're going to challenge them on the perimeter, like fight through blocks and make tackles. And that's going to be part of their run game as well. And then come the deep shot. So I think this is a really tough test for this A&M defense. And if they force a couple turnovers, if they do bend but don't break and hold this team in the, low 20s, I think it's a huge step forward.
It's big because their field goal kicking situation is not great.
Yeah.
So if you can just get stops in the red zone, that'd be big.
And they hadn't been stopped yet, right? They're like 100% or something.
And this is like the Notre Dame game, Seth, and this is like this season for A&M that I think people need to understand. Until this defense shows us a lot more than they have, it'll look like there's going to be big plays. I would love to see them eliminate all the busts in 1 week off, but I just don't. I think that's a little pie in the sky. I think eventually they'll get there. But you just want to see improvement. But they're going to hit some big plays. There might be a Cam Coleman play for a touchdown where you're going, damn it. But it is a 4-quarter fight that is going to go into the later rounds. And this season, you were talking about, we were talking about, I forget earlier, maybe it was Crain, but, I'm thinking of Tennessee last year. Tennessee went into Fayetteville and lost to Arkansas, and they made the playoff. It is this whole season, and I'm not saying A&M's going to lose tomorrow. I'm picking them to win. But it's just going to be you got to ride the waves. And when they hit a big play, Bronny, force a field goal.
Yeah.
And when you get inside the 5, score a touchdown like that. It's just welcome to this year's Texas A&M experience because I think they're going to win a lot of games, but I think it's going to be, it's
a lot of close games.
A lot of fights.
But think about the confidence that they got last week or 2 weeks ago by doing that. They had an answer for everything that Notre Dame gave them, and they never gave up, and they finished, and they finished, and they finished, and that builds confidence in the team moving forward.
And by the way, what would be nice is if we could just start fast for once.
Yeah.
Can we not get down?
That's a great segue. That's what I had to come out of the next break. We're up against the break. We got to pick games too.
I will say this. Everybody, certainly before we go to break, y'all have got to have in the back of your minds what I've had all week, which is, what about them just coming out and looking like they did against Missouri last year? That's not off the table.
here for it.
All right, when we come back, a lot more to
ever.
get to. We'll talk about the start of the game, and we'll pick some games. Freak of the week, sleeper of the week, a lot more to come with Luch and the McKinney brothers here on the final countdown, a Friday edition of TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Let's talk a little Snaps clothing. David Nuño here, and I love wearing Snaps clothing everywhere. I've got the flannel on right now. You've seen me in the Tailgater collection with the A&M gear. It is fantastic. If you see me around town with my sons, Christian and Cruz, they've got a bunch of Snaps gear. When they have big games for Consol, they wear nice clothes, so they wear their Snap stuff. And I'm telling you, with baseball season here, let's all kind of go looking stylish and fit to the games there at Olson wearing the Snaps clothing. As a reminder, they are the only official licensed Texas A&M Pearl Snaps maker out there. Their Tailgater collection is built for game day with breathable, moisture-wicking fabrics to keep you comfortable while you rep your Aggies in style. Now, whether you're watching the game from home or maybe you're in attendance, you're tailgating, whatever it may be, you got to make sure you head to snapsclothing.com to see everything they have to offer. It is fashionable, it is awesome, and you're going to love it.
product you watched.
Welcome back to TexAgs Live. The final countdown presented by La Casa Tequila rolls on as we head toward the bottom of the hour. Steve and Seth McKinney, Billy Liucci here in the Rollo Insurance Studios. Steve with a great segue at the end of the last segment. We talked about starting fast. So far this year, as good as the Aggie offense has been and their point totals have been, they have not started fast. Against an Auburn team that's going to struggle throwing the football, if the Aggies can score the first 2 drives or just get out to a multi-score lead, you could really throw their game plan seemingly into a tailspin.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would be happy to just not be down 21-0 to them again like last year.
God.
Anything less than that would probably be a win.
That was unbelievable. That was one of the more unexpected.
The fact that we ended up in overtime of that game after a 21-point deficit in the first quarter.
Why'd you just call them the grist mill? But what did that have to do?
Grimm, brothers Grimm.
Oh, the grist mill.
Oh, Seth was he was like, oh, that's fine. We'll be all right, man. I'm like, no, we're not all right, Seth.
Listen.
They would have been if they.
No, well, I'm not. Look, no one's talking about 21-0. If that happens, we got all kinds of issues. This is
or what if they go up
team.
21-0?
Yeah, how about it? It can happen.
That's what I'd like to see.
It can happen.
Here's my thing with what you're talking about is we've seen this offense through 3 weeks, and it's not going to be 2012 Johnny, all first round O-line, basically Mike, Swope, like all those running backs. Although I think the running back position is comparable. I think the receiver position is comparable. I'm not saying those two will be all-time greats, but I think if it was a different point in time and they were coming in from high school and you had them both for 4 years, they'd certainly put up those kind of numbers. They're that good. And if no one's saying Marcel's Johnny. But Marcel has a chance to be really, really good. Your running back is great. Your running back stable's really good. Your O-line's one of the better ones in the SEC, conservatively speaking. And we know what those pass catchers can do. Why can't this look like 2012 A&M? And what I just mean by that is that they're just going to go out and score on everybody. And there are going to be games where they start out looking like Missouri last year or LSU in the second half, where it's just like a blitzkrieg of yards and points and big plays. And I don't think that's off the table this week or any week. Now, there are going to be weeks when it's not quite to that level, but why not?
Well,
what if they're that good? What if this offense is one of the 5 best in college football?
And who's saying they're not? What if we go out there, like you're saying, and not only start fast, but we don't just like give up the big play like we have in 3 games that we had no business doing, that were just kind of blow-ups. Notre Dame, there was 2, maybe 3, but like we can do that. You can go out there and just play a solid game and not be perfect, but also not give up disaster type plays like huge passes or the blocked punt or whatever, or the 75-yard run at the start of a second half. And you can do that, and that's what you would love to see happen, is just a crisp game. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just be more crisp on the defensive side of the ball than you have been.
Limit the explosive plays.
How about this? I thought watching UTSA and Utah State, like this team just needs to play somebody good. The defense in particular, they needed a challenge. Like, hey, if you're not good this week, Jeremiah Love is going to humiliate you. Do y'all want to go up there and have Love and Price just run all over you? And they won the game last year because you guys couldn't tackle those 2 guys. And I felt like what you saw was a big jump in the down-to-down performance. They did still, like you said, give up some of those big plays, but a big jump. Now what I want to see is same thing with Cam Coleman. Hey, this guy had a field day at your expense last year. This team beat you. They ruined your season last year. But this guy had a big day at your expense, and I just want to see, like, again, that defense feel challenged, and in this case, that back end. But also get that Kyle Field bump, which you guys have played there. All I do is hear the crowd, and I know how much it elevates the level of performance on defense. Y'all have been in the games. You know it. home versus road, the biggest difference to me is how the defense.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the offensive line and that the struggle they had at OU, and I'm not trying to say that OU is an awful crowd, but it's no Kyle Field, and I promise you that it's going to be like level 10 all day long. It's going to be an all-day affair, and that offensive line is going to have to communicate where they cannot hear the quarterback. However, they're going to do it, and no matter what, you're at a little bit of a detriment for the most part. Just not a ton, but a little bit. But you can definitely exaggerate that if you start to get all frazzled in your head.
Well, I mean, last week or 2 weeks ago, we scored 41 points with like 10 procedure penalties.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times did we put ourselves in like 1st and 15, 2nd and 15?
Which is another example of how close A&M was to blowing Notre Dame out of their own building when you consider the penalties and the missed deep shots that Marcel missed by a combined foot.
Right.
They were that close for 550 yards and close to 60 points.
No doubt. No doubt.
And there's nothing that this offense has done so far that, in fact, I think that it can get better because the running game's going to get better. And what you guys mentioned about Auburn and limiting explosive play, Steve, you said it. Just are they good enough on offense and consistent enough on offense with that quarterback to go on 10, 12 play drives and score touchdowns? I'd bet on that. I'd bet against that, actually, and say, no, they're not.
Yeah.
They're going to make a mistake somewhere, shoot themselves in the foot, throw the ball to the other team. So I do like that, like just kind of a bend but don't break mentality. And like we said, they've got questions at field goal kicker.
How many turnovers has the A&M defense forced in 3 games? I'm going to answer it for you, I think. I think it's 2. I think the interception by Scooby and the late forced fumble by Sam Mpemba against Utah State. That's it. 2 turnovers. One, if we're going to call, that's a great individual play by Mpemba, but if we're going to call mop-up touchdowns allowed, that was in mop-up time. Like, this starting unit, this defense, in 3 games has forced 1 turnover.
Got to change.
That ain't good enough.
No. Mm-hmm.
And I think tomorrow's a day you see the defense get their hands on a couple of footballs. And I don't think it's like they're not going to force 4 or 5. But I think they can go out and get a couple of takeaways from, like you said, make Jackson Arnold do it over the long haul. And I think you're going to see this defense take advantage with a couple of takeaways.
All right, we come back, Freak and Sleeper of the Week, and then we'll start picking some games with the McKinney brothers and Billy Liucci here on the Final Countdown, presented by La Casa Tequila on TexAgs Live. It's presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
chewing tobacco.
All right, welcome back to TexAgs Live. It's the final countdown presented by La Casa Tequila here in the Rollo Insurance Studios. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, and it's time for everybody's favorite harmonious segment of the week. Steve and Seth McKinney. It's the Freak of the Week.
It's the Freak of the Week.
You know I did a show.
Oh, Billy, interrupt us,
go
man.
ahead. Do it again.
No, it's
3, 2, 1.
No, I'm not doing it. It's one time affair.
You can't do one interrupted. It ruins
It was interrupted.
Do it again.
It's the Freak of the Week. Like Billy's little puppet over here. We'll do it.
And he ruined that one.
You just ruined that one.
Come on, Seth.
I'm not doing it again.
You have to.
Let me just tell you.
If you don't do it again and A&M loses the game, do it. 3, 2, 1.
It's the Freak of the Week.
That
was good. A good
and
pause.
you did it good. Yeah.
Nice. We'll start over there.
Save the game right there. Good job, Seth.
Steve, Freak of the Week.
Dude, my Freak of the Week's easy, man. I'm going KC Concepcion this week.
Woo.
Mario had his big game last week. I think KC's going to take that personal. You know, I think he wants to be the number one guy talked about in our receiving core.
Look at Steve trying to cause divide.
Well, good. That's what it's all about.
No, I do.
Motivation.
I do think you're right. I think it's competitive, and those guys are like, they're just having fun with it out there. And like, by the way, KC made a couple of huge catches at Notre Dame, and I agree with you. I think it's going to be one guy one week, the other guy the next. And when they're not the one with 140, 150, 200 yards, they're still going to be sitting there with 50, 60, 70, 80 as the number 2. So I do. I'm with you on that one. I guess since you picked him, I'm going to go with Cassius Howell. I know OU, I've said it before, A&M's not going to have 10 sacks this week like OU did, but
we'll take 5.
But I think Cassius Howell, he's got to be a guy that makes big plays this week defensively, and I think he will. And offensively, I'm going with if you're going to go KC, I'm gonna go with Craver and take my chances that he goes out and puts together back-to-back 2. Because really, all he's done is play 3 great games. Both of these guys have been exceptional every week out.
Cassius Howell built a lot like our own Jason Howell.
Yeah,
very similar. Seth?
Well, against Notre Dame, I picked Regis. He went out and dominated, did what he had to do there. And I'm going to pick a guy that needs to go dominate this weekend, which is Des Ricks, and cover Cam Coleman whenever they're faced with each other. I tried to do my research. I don't know if they flip-flop or whatever on one-on-one receivers, but whenever they're matched up, I expect them to shut down Cam. And that's my biggest fear. I know they got a good running game and everything like that, but it's the big play.
Keep him in front of you.
Like we had last year with Cam Coleman over and over again. Just shut him down, lock him down.
I think I'm going to go low-hanging fruit here. Freak of the Week, Marcel Reed.
Yeah.
Look, when you start adding in, I think he's been not contained, like maybe self-contained, running the ball only when necessary. I think there's another element to Colin Klein's offense that we saw against LSU that hasn't been a part of the playbook so far this year. I think they can start taking advantage of that to try to stretch this Auburn run defense a little bit. Obviously, we know what he's been doing in the passing game. So I'll take Marcel Reed.
And I think he could have run more last week, and he knew two things. Klein didn't unleash him, but 2, Marcel knew he was banged up and was trying to and still got. He needed the bye week, I think, as much as anybody on this team. And it's a good thing because he got banged up against Utah State. People forget he did all that in South Bend, hurt, and taking a couple of absolutely vicious hits in game. So if you ever want to question that guy's toughness, go back and rewatch that game and remember that he entered that game hurt. And didn't
he take a pretty good shot on like the first series where the guy like wrapped him up?
He was talking to me about that in here, like the very first series of the game, he got hit and driven into the ground. So also, we're talking about what were you just saying? Your guys,
Ricks.
Ricks. I remember those safeties this week.
Mm-hmm.
You're without Bryce. Speaking of hits and. Thank God Elko's saying he's going to play again. He's just not ready to be back yet. Ratcliffe and Brooks have to have a big game in run support.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even care if it's great if it's by the line of scrimmage and they're making plays, but also when Arnold does decide to tuck it and run, they've got to take good angles and make tackles, both of them.
A&M has been poor in terms of missed tackles so far this year, one of the worst.
And last year.
And
that's what scares you because it's not –
a 3-week thing. It's a lot of guys that have
It's a systemic
struggled
problem.
with open field tackle.
One more thing on Marcel. A&M currently has the leading receiver in the SEC. The leading passer in the SEC is John Mateer. They're on a bye and he's hurt. A&M could walk out of week 5 of the season with the SEC's leader in passing and receiving, both on their roster. Who would have had that in early August?
Well, everybody's going to also say
exciting.
this about Mateer's hand and da-da-da. He went 16 of 17 to end that game. It wasn't affecting his throwing. However, how that is, I don't know. You're the hand injury expert.
Was it the hamate?
Yeah. I broke his hamate. It might have been. It might have been. But he could throw that football. And if Marcel comes out and balls out this weekend, and you can take, this is what Reed did versus Auburn versus what Mateer did 1 week later. This is what Reed did against Notre Dame 1 game after what Carson Beck did. And those are 2 guys that everyone's got near the forefront of their Heisman. It would be quite a statement. Obviously, there's a really good defense in front of him. I think Durkin's a much better D coordinator than Ash is, even though Olin has consistently.
Olin can't stand that guy.
I mean, it's
bizarre.
Durkin's coming back just to smack Olin around, I feel. But, yeah, I mean, I didn't think he was that bad.
He's okay.
No, yeah, he wasn't Elko. He didn't have the success Elko did, but had it not been for the bar Elko set, I think people would have said that he was a decently successful DC. I mean, people just hated the 3-man front when we had 18.
Olin acts like he's Mr. Coach Klein or something.
Who?
From the Water Boy.
Oh, I was like, Colin Klein did a good job.
Mr. Coach Klein.
All right. What's your
sleeper of the week? Presented by the Sleep Station. Go see Jared McLeod and ask about a Tempur-Pedic or Purple mattress in the Specs parking lot at Texas and Harvey and in front of the Lowe's at William D. Fitch and Highway 6. Website is thesleepstation.com. We'll start over here with Seth, your sleeper of the week.
I'm going to go with a man who's going to hopefully create a nice, comfy place for Marcel to be like it was a Tempur-Pedic bed, and that's Fathery. So I look forward to having him back. I think he's going to have a great game coming off that dinged-up knee, and it'll free up whatever rotation they want to have going. I mean, whatever it is, I think that's going to just help get the talent on the field and only make that group better.
Well, I think what it also does is when you have a tackle that gets a penalty and jumps off sides a few times, it gives you an option of somebody to put in there to settle him down.
Right.
So that'll be nice.
You want to go, Steve?
Who's more likely to have a false start, a mental mistake in a game, you or Seth?
Probably Seth, I would guess.
Get a little too.
Oh man,
he didn't deny it.
No, I'm just going back to this one time.
I mean, one guy's an All-American, in fairness, but
I mean, I played 11 years in the NFL. You can see my record of penalties. So.
It's documented.
It's documented. I was just thinking,
he is more of a panicker.
Wait, I'm just thinking of a time on the goal line in Miami. All right, we're in the shotgun and we're running, and I can't hear anything. And I'm like, oh my God. We're at home, by the way, which Dolphins' home stadium is awful. There's no home field advantage there for the Dolphins. And it's just loud as could be down there. I couldn't hear anything. We're going verbal snap count. And I snap it, and he wasn't ready for it. And I don't remember if we got the ball or not, but I would always remember that happening.
You're like the Notre Dame.
And was that for Saban?
No, I don't even remember, to tell you the truth.
No, that was.
It could have been Saban or once. I don't know.
Once.
I know that it happened, though.
Okay, we're up against a break. Nick says we got to go to a break. We'll finish sleepers on the other side. We'll start picking games. We're going to go long again today to get you ready for A&M and Auburn. Join us for the final segment of the show on radio. Stick with us. We'll go through the end on TexAgs.com/live as well as the YouTube page for overtime here this morning. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
I don't take vacation.
Final segment of the show here on a Friday morning, TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are headed toward TexAgs Overtime, which is presented by the Rogue Shop. If you're having issues sleeping or staying asleep, Rogue Shop's THC and CBD gummies can and will help you put you to sleep. Rogue Shop Cannabis is also great for those with chronic pain and anxiety. Check out our website, rogueshop.com, for more information. Use code TexAgs for 10% off of anything on the website. We got to go back and finish our sleepers.
Seth, what are your thoughts of that sponsor?
Can we not do this? Come on. What? Sleeper of the week, Steve.
The Road Shop and Sleep Station, by the way, that combo, and you better not have an early wake-up call. Because if Jared McLeod's got you a nice Tempur-Pedic or purple, I almost bought a different one that I really like the sound of. It was, forget the name of it now, but I think they have them in the White House, allegedly. These are like super, they're not the...
Super Tempur-Pedic?
Super mattress.
Wonderful mattress.
It's a super mattress.
Best mattress.
I told him to use that mattress.
So...
I think it's the best.
They told me not to get it, but I did. If they offer you another mattress, run far, far away. I think that's a terrible Trump impersonation, though. But yeah, get you a mattress from the Sleep Station. Take a little bit of potion from the Rogue Shop, and Seth, even you with all your chronic injuries from CrossFit could.
I don't really get in the clouds like that. So I don't know how I'd react.
I think
you need to get in the cloud, bro.
I think you'd wake up feeling great. I really do.
All right, Steve. Well, put me to sleep with your sleeper pick then.
Well, my sleeper pick is going to be Ashton Bethel Roman.
Ooh, took mine.
Yes, good.
I'm just thinking we got these two guys now. Obviously, I want our number 1 and 2 guys to blow up, but I'm feeling like they may be bracketing, double covering these guys. I feel like ABR is going to get some one-on-one.
You are 100% right. That's why the sleeper of the week is Terry Bussey, not Ashton Bethel.
It could be Terry Bussey.
When he said Ashton Bethel Roman, I came back.
Hey, nobody feels sorry for Billy.
He just keeps taking all of them. But
you're the king of taking people.
I think y'all are right. Those guys are going to, I'm with you.
One of them's got to step up.
So because of that.
Terry Bussey in the return game, too. Another Auburn special teams.
Is that a sleeper, considering that guy's...
Well, just nobody's talking about that's the way for A&M to score points.
I think everybody is. We literally had 2 guests, and 50% of them talked about it.
I think Terry
Crain said.
He was all over the news this week for whatever reason. So
what news?
What happened?
Channel 3 getting interviewed.
KBTX.
Oh, he was part of the media session this week. Bussey was one of the guys there.
He was one of the selected players.
Yeah, there you go.
I thought something happened in Timpson that he has.
Listen.
Let's not bring up Timpson.
Did they beat y'all?
No, they destroyed Sean in the playoffs.
Yeah, with Bussey, yeah. No, man, they've got other weapons besides the big 2 in the passing game, and I'm going to go because of that. I don't know, like this. The tight end position is my sleeper pick in terms of catches and yards this week. It might be a game for them too. That's going to open up.
It's time for Niblack to happen, dude.
Yeah, and maybe he sees Auburn on the other side, the former Alabama player, and says, "You know what? I'm seeing red," and goes after him. So I like the tight end position there. And on defense, you mentioned Regis last week. What about Tyler Onyedem? I liked what he did in South Bend. Regis had a great game, and Hicks did too. But T.O. questions at center. He's probably going to play, but he's probably going to be playing hurt. He's a matchup problem on the inside, and I think you're going to see that.
I want one name to say, at some point, this kid is going to have a big explosive play, and the college football and the SEC landscape has no idea about it.
Before you say it, does he play for Trooper Taylor and wear number 23?
Jamarian Morrow. Yeah. They keep talking about him.
Yeah.
And he is a different kind of